they're going for the six-pack tonight, but you know what's even better than a six-pack?
A Kegger!
I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now.
Oh, I win. Google me.
We're not hosting an intergalactic kegger down here.
Yes, we are. And
All
guess
right,
who's
take that,
hosting
Rip
it?
Torn.
Who's hosting the Kegger?
We both are, baby.
I think it's
might be Mike Gundy.
I think it's Mike Gundy.
So Mike Gundy spoke at Big 12 Media Days. Boy, I get a little hopped up when these conference media days happen. I get a little bit ready to go because it means that college football is right around the corner. So Mike Gundy speaking at Big 12 Media Days because there is a story out there about Ollie Gordon. Now, Ollie Gordon was arrested for DUI 2 weeks ago. DUI, not a DWI.
Can someone please text in the definitive difference? Constable Scott, I know you're listening. DUI versus DWI.
We got a lot of explanations on it earlier today when we were talking about this, and at least the common response we got needs to be vetted maybe, but the common response we got was DWI refers to alcohol, DUI refers to any sorts of substance that you're being influenced by.
So Ollie Gordon was arrested 2 weeks ago, and
he's their running back, right? Stud back.
He was the conference player of the year.
He's Sean's son, right?
That's
Ollie.
Ollie, yes. So he was fantastic, and he's 1,700 yards rushing. Good player. So Gundy was speaking at Big 12 Media Days about the punishment that he was going to undertake, or lack thereof.
We're in a time where you guys are essentially employees. You guys make lots of money to play this game. It's different than it was 5 years ago. And your punishment's going to be facing the facts. That's why we brought him here today. I said, you're not going into hiding. You're going to face the music. You're going to have to stand up and talk to people and answer questions. And hopefully, more than football, you can learn from the situation you've been in. Because if not, then we have a real issue. But he's going to play. And I'm going to do what we think is best for Oklahoma State football. And I think it's best for Ollie to play. If there's any punishment, it's make him carry the ball 50 times in the first game.
There you go. 50 times the first game. That's your punishment. You're gonna carry this thing 50 times.
We're doing what's best for him. Yeah, having him on the football field absolutely is what's best for you guys. I understand that. Like, this isn't some like
handing the ball off 50 times is the exact way to take an L. This is if you're gonna really do this, Mike Gundy, you're gonna probably, unless you're doing this like first game of the season, do they have like some slap team, little tune-up game to start the year? Then maybe you can hand it off to
Oklahoma State is a slap team.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Shout out to you, Cody.
yeah, they got San Diego State. I'm sorry, South Dakota State.
Okay, there you go. So, yeah, that's a game where you can just say, sure, we'll hand it off 50 times to this guy, and we can still win the game. But we know what it does. I mean, the wear and tear of the running backs, dude. This is like a big picture punishment here for this guy.
Isn't that Trey Lance's school, South Dakota State?
No, he's North Dakota State.
North Dakota State, yeah.
South Dakota State.
Calling it his school is generous. He threw like 112 passes for them and was there for like 3 months.
Yeah, I it's a weak punishment. It's not a punishment. One of the things he said, though, was
not a punishment. 50. They talk about car accidents.
Yeah, that's a punishment from that regard.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's more of a team punishment because you're going to hurt the team because you're not going to win a game. That said, him forced him to go to media days. That really is probably the only power college coaches have over players at this point.
Yeah, and that
forced you to do media obligations.
Yeah,
that is legitimately a. Like, if you have to stand up there and answer for it and talk about it, like, that's going to be something that's uncomfortable. But the 50, I don't know any skill position player who's like, oh, please, no, don't let me touch the ball 50 times in a game.
Yeah,
like,
but that's their own ignorance, though. Like, this is not good for the future of a player if in one game you're getting 50 carries at the running back position. I mean, obviously, if it was an entire season of that, it'd be much more than just one game. Maybe it doesn't actually matter. But that dude is going to be sore, especially the first game of the year when you haven't had the full-fledged contact. Like, you haven't calloused up the body. That first game, day after first game, is probably the most sore you are. 50 carries on a running back body first game.
It's insane.
My dude's going to be hurting the next day.
By the way, if he does this, then Ollie Gordon will have run the ball half as many times as Trey Lance has thrown the ball in his NFL career.
He has 100 passes?
He has 102 pass attempts.
That seems
Trey Lance just scratching the surface.
You know, since middle school, the number is like 498. He's thrown 498 passes since middle school.
It's almost 500.
Yeah. That's great.
Okay, so that was part one of the Gundy stuff. The other part
the next one is the big one.
This is the big one. He kind of broke down just how and why we got here with the DUI and why he also couldn't go too hard on the punishment.
So I looked it up on my phone. What would be the legal limit? Like in Oklahoma is .08, in Ollie was 0.1. So I looked it up, and it was based on body weight. Not to get into the legal side of it, but I thought really 2 or 3 beers or 4. I'm not justifying what Ollie did. I'm telling you what decision I made. Well, I thought I've probably done that 1,000 times in my life.
Amazing. What?
I mean, one of the most incriminating sentences you could ever utter into a microphone. He's doing what, beer science here, beer analytics. He's pulled out his phone
analytics,
and he's trying to calculate how many beers it took to get his guy a little bit tipsy there. Just sort of writing it off. I mean, I have 2-3 beers all the time. We call that lunch break here.
This is like
it wasn't a full line. It was a bump. You know,
1,000 times. I mean, if that means on average, my dude Mike Gundy is probably going about 40 times a year with a little boozing and driving, which is actually less than what I thought it would have been.
I mean, it's what, 3 times a month?
3 times a month? Yeah. 3 times a month.
Look, I think. How much of this is? I mean, like, is he right? Like, a lot of people do this like all the time. Like, they go to dinner and you have 2 drinks at dinner, and then it's not 2 beers, it's 2 drinks. Then you might be over. I mean, yeah, that happens. But that's like doesn't mean that you can't discipline it or parent it. You know, like I know, like if my kid gets hammered at 16, not supposed to. You got to parent it.
Luke, are you going to get hammered at 16 and drive?
Choppy's
No, he
kids
says no.
He's allergic to alcohol. You wouldn't believe it.
He says
How do
no.
you-
He's not
He's
going to.
allergic to alcohol.
He only found that out because
he'll just collapse and he won't. He's totally allergic to it.
Is that what you told him?
But like, you know, yeah. Even though I did the same thing, I still have to get mad at him.
Yes.
I still have to get mad at him. I still have to parent it.
Yeah, you can't just write it off.
Man, I can't think of a more brazen admission. Like, I mean, this is like Bonnie and Clyde taunting the police, basically talking about like, I've driven drunk 1,000 times. What are you going to do? It's still water. I own the police. It's still water.
This is like the most.
Biff Tannen. I own the police.
Biff did used to drink with like a light beer in his car.
He did.
So,
I mean, if we talked about this yesterday and we had to guess the coach most likely to say this into a microphone,
Had to be Gundy.
It would be Gundy.
Hundo.
yeah. Now the coach most likely to, if you told me they've driven drunk 1,000 times, I might say Bobby Petrino.
Oh, I was going to say Steve Sarkisian, your guy. Sorry, Bob. Was that offensive to you? Horns up.
That man is
He's bounced
recovering.
back.
He's
Yes,
recovering
for sure.
from it.
But
He's done great.
I'm not saying recently.
He has
but
done great. He really has.
Yeah, he's dominating right now, and his quarterback Arch Manning's going to be in the NCAA football video game, which is good news. This is what we want. This is what we need. He's probably getting paid a ton of money for it.
He's in the game.
Yeah,
Opts in.
Arch Manning.
He played us
In
all
the
for
game.
fools. He played us all for fools. This is all, I 1,000% believe this was a ruse the entire time. No, he said he wasn't going to be in it.
Okay.
And because like the game
Just
comes
the build
out.
up.
The game comes out next week. So now we're to believe that there's just all of a sudden putting him in the game. Having these, I mean, we're just putting him in the game now.
Yeah.
He's been in it the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Look, it's the same thing as just like, oh, he carries his own books to class as a freshman, and you know he refuses to take NIL money until he's the starting quarterback, and it's just all part of the legend. It's all part of the.
It is a legend.
It's all part of the Manning machine.